decorations that have gone out of style, that are no longer used nowadays, and that I wouldn't do in my house, being an architect, and I would also recommend that you don't do them in your house. That's what I'm going to show you here now in this video. Hey guys, how are you doing? All good? I'm Eddie Pokleber, an architect, and now I want to show you some decorations, some items, okay? When we're renovating our house, sometimes we think, wow, that's cool, that's beautiful, let's do it this way. And we don't even imagine that later we might regret having chosen that decoration. For example, I wouldn't do that when renovating my house or decorating my apartment, and that's what I'm going to tell you now so you don't make a mistake. You might even agree with me or disagree. That's no problem at all. I'd like to hear your thoughts on whether you agree with me or not on these items I'm going to show you now. First item, guys, lights above the mirror there in your bathroom, you know? When we put lighting, especially a spotlight, right above the mirror in our bathroom, it's very common for us to have lighting in front of the bathroom mirror. In our ensuite bathroom, our guest bathroom, even in the half bath, right? When we have a plaster ceiling, people go there and put those spotlights right in front of the mirror about 20 centimeters away. However, there's a mistake here that I want you to understand. When you use this lighting that's exactly in front of the mirror, it creates a shadow here, okay? In this part of your eye right here, and for women's makeup and for men when they shave anyway. When you use this lighting so you can see your face in a more natural way, especially for women when it comes to makeup, it's a mistake, okay? It won't work because it will create that shadow here, look, on your eye, okay? On your face. So that's a terrible problem for everyday life. Now, if that's not your intention or your goal, then it's all good here. There's no problem. I have another spot here in my suite in a closet where I have a mirror. The lighting comes from the front and then we can use it for makeup and so on. Then it's fine, then it's cool, it's nice. But if you only have this single goal, if you only have this space to have both functional lighting and that lighting that comes from the front, it's nice to use a little wall sconce, maybe a LED by the mirror, so the light comes from the front to your face to give you good lighting, right? More natural light there without creating shadows. So this is the first thing I wouldn't do in my house if that were the goal, okay? I'll make that clear for you here. A panel only around the TV in your living room. Look how interesting this item is here. Look, I even want to discuss this with you here. Tell me in the comments, do you think the slatted panel is out of style? I want to hear your opinion, okay? Do you think the panel is out of style? I've been seeing with some frequency some interior design professionals saying that the slatted panel is out of style, that it's outdated. I'm an architect and I have a slatted panel in my TV room. Whenever I can, in my projects, I recommend my clients to add a little side strip. A nice panel in the TV room, the one that goes by the end table on the headboard of the bed. Anyway, there are several situations where you can use the slatted panel and I want to know your opinion. But what I want you to understand is that you can make a panel, whether it's slatted or smooth in any shape just around the TV, as if it were a frame for you to embed your television there. That's not functional in my opinion. Okay? It's better for you to have just the TV, like I've already told you in other videos here on the channel, that when you want a cleaner, lighter, more minimalist TV room wall, there's no need to have a panel, just the TV stand and the TV. Obviously, you'll need to make some adjustments there to run a duct pipe or something, a conduit, so the cables and wires can go through, right? HDMI and everything else from the TV to the devices are hidden inside the wall. So you need to do that beforehand. But what I want you to understand is, are you going to make the panel? Do it on the whole wall, okay? Don't just put up that small panel. A wooden frame where your TV is, right? Like it's embedded. No, you don't have to do that just because the TV only fits that way. That's not necessary. In my opinion, making the panel only around the TV is out of style. Mirror on your kitchen cabinet, that tall cabinet in your kitchen, putting a mirror on it. We even have a personal experience from our old house. My wife used to complain a lot because we had a mirror on that overhead cabinet, that wall cabinet in the kitchen area of our house. And she would say something like, look, Edipo, we cleaned this here, and 2 or 3 days later, it already looks like it hasn't been cleaned in a month. Because it feels like the dirt really sticks to it and all. It's not that it actually sticks, it's going to stick anyway, whether it's wood, plastic, or any other material. It's just that the mirror shows it more, right? Those little grease stains on your mirror, so it shows more. It gives that impression of carelessness, you know? And it's not very functional. In my opinion, it's not very functional to have mirrors on those overhead cabinets in your kitchen. It's nice, it's more natural to use the cabinetry itself to make the doors, to make the counter there. Anyway, without using mirrors. It's another situation too. It's another type of decor that I wouldn't put in my new house, okay? Not in my new house project. I wouldn't recommend it to my clients either. Doing this on your cabinet, even if he likes it, I would say, look, do you want to put it in? Do you like this decor, this product? We can put it in, but I don't recommend it. I'm going to make this very clear to my client. So that's another item here. It's another outdated decoration that, in my opinion, I wouldn't use. A yellow sofa in your living room. Look at this. It's almost absurd. You've got your living room looking nice and pretty. You put in porcelain tiles, nice vinyl flooring. Set it all up. You set up your TV room, your media wall, your TV stand. Great. You decorated the ceiling, added pleasant lighting, and then boom, you put in a yellow sofa just to draw attention. That burgundy sofa, that red sofa, just to draw attention. Whoever comes to my house will have to see my sofa. They might not see anything else in my house, but they will have to see the sofa. Look, I want to tell you something. This kind of situation is totally out of fashion. It's totally out of place in your decor. Especially nowadays when people want cleaner, lighter, softer designs. Okay? So don't draw so much attention with just one piece of furniture in your house, like a yellow sofa, a red sofa, or a blue sofa that really catches my eye, okay? Don't do that. What's my tip for you? Pay attention. If you have colors in your paint, on the walls, in the cabinetry, or on the floor in shades of gray, look for a sofa in gray tones just a little darker. If you have beige tones, look for a sofa in beige tones, lighter, darker, a neutral color, okay? But never put a yellow sofa in your living room decor like, but everything here is white, I want something to stand out. No, let's not make the sofa stand out. Highlight it with an armchair, for example, which I think is cool, right? That way you can move it, put it on your balcony or in another room, right? Because it's a piece of furniture, kind of portable, we can move it around. The sofa, we're not gonna move, you know? So, in my opinion, when it comes to decoration, an item I wouldn't put in my house is a sofa that stands out too much from the decor, and I don't recommend you do that in your house either. Gray granite in your kitchen, check out this item I want to show you now. Edman, I was already thinking about choosing a type of granite to put in my kitchen, and I was looking at some colors and everything. Let me tell you this, granite is one of the materials, it's one of the stones we have here in Brazil that's most common and one of the cheapest. Let's put it this way, for us to renovate and really crunch the numbers. There are several types. There's the São Gabriel Black, the Ubatuba Green, the Pitaya, the Absolute Gray. There are many. But what I want you to understand is, pay attention. When we're designing a kitchen decoration, right? The cabinets, the floor, the base cabinets anyway, the gray granite, that speckled one, you know, that even gets a bit tiresome because it's so common. That flat slab on the countertop, this material, this type of granite, this specific model, it's really hard to match with other decorations, okay? Want to see? Here are two types of granite that are really easy to match with anything. There's Pitaya, there's Preto São Gabriel. They're both beautiful for decorating your kitchen countertop. Great choices for your countertop. Now this gray one, it's really difficult. Man, I'll tell you. I've already done some projects where the client said, look, there's granite like this and all. I said, no, let's not work with it. No, let's not, because it's really difficult. You're going to get tired of it quickly in your kitchen decor. And you're going to call me here and say, hey, Ed, why didn't you warn me? So it's a specific item, this type of gray granite that I don't use. I would never use in a new decoration in my house, and I don't recommend that you use it in yours. Aluminum handles, you know, on our cabinets, on the cupboards, especially in the kitchen. This one, it has two sides, right? This item here, the aluminum handle, is very functional. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to hide that from you because you have it running the full length of the door. You can grab it anywhere and pull. It's a functional handle, right? We can't hide that. But when it comes to aesthetics, it really takes away from your cabinetry, right? It becomes a detail there. About 3 centimeters, some models are even 4 centimeters. Running the full length of your cabinet door, right? Usually vertically. And aesthetically, that's not very nice for you to have in your kitchen, your bathroom cabinet, your laundry area, your balcony, your barbecue area, right? So, think about it. I'll repeat and make it very clear for you. It's functional. Yeah, but it's not pretty, okay? You might even agree with me. I know there are a lot of people watching this video who will say, I have it at home and I like it. That's fine. That's what I'm telling you. It's functional, but for a clean, lighter, softer design, it's not very aesthetically pleasing. I wouldn't do it, okay? To be honest with you, in my house, in a renovation I'm going to do, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't use this type of aluminum handle. Aluminum running the full length of the drawer and the door, I would choose another model, something cleaner, softer. Polished flooring in your house, this one we can even open up for discussion because there are a lot of people who like it and a lot of people who don't. Look, let's talk about another item here too, right? That can also cause a lot of discussion among us. Because why? There are a lot of people who like polished porcelain tiles and a lot of people who hate polished porcelain tiles, right? For a number of reasons. Some people say, look, it's very easy to clean. I like the shine. I like that sense that it's easy to clean. But there are other people who don't like it. Wow, it shows dirt too easily. Anything at all, it's there. Yeah. If hair falls on the polished floor, you can already see it, right? So it divides opinions. What do you think? In your house, if you're building, if you're renovating, or if you want to change your floor, would you choose satin, which is more matte, or would you choose polished? Me, being an architect in my house, in a new project, I would go with satin. I wouldn't choose polished for the floor in my house. Okay, it's a matter of taste. It's a personal choice, all right? It's just like the handle, like I mentioned a little while ago. Some people think it's cool, it's functional, but aesthetically it draws too much attention. The issue with polished floors is very personal. If you asked me in a project I would do for you, which one would you recommend, Ed? I would say satin, but if you go with polished, that's fine too, okay? It really depends on how we're going to match the rest of your decor. I want to hear your opinion. Let me know here. Satin or polished? Dark colors to paint inside your house, you know, when you choose a really dark color and end up making your space too dark. I've already told you this in several videos here on the channel, that inside our house I like to work with at most 2 colors. For painting walls, okay, choose a very light color to be the main color and pick 1 wall per room to use a darker color to create an accent. TV room, for example, all the walls in a very light color, a light cockatiel gray tone, and the TV wall. Then you go and use gray, elephant gray, okay? Yeah, Ed, I like beige tones, so use something like a very light, soft beige shade. Country cottage, which is a darker color, on just 1 wall, okay? Don't use dark colors inside your house because soon you'll end up choosing a darker sofa. You'll pick darker cabinetry. The floor might already have a strong color. And then you'll have to keep the lights on most of the time during the day in your house because those rooms will get too dark. So, one thing I wouldn't do in my house and I don't recommend you do in yours is to choose very, very dark colors to paint and repeat that color too much inside. Pick a light color. Let's go. Just pick 1 wall. It looks really cool. By the way, let me jump in here. Hold on. I want to jump in here inside the house. If I'm telling you that I'm not in favor of using dark colors on the outside, then what colors would I use to paint the facade, the wall, the garage of my house? Which ones? Pay attention down here in the description of this video. The first link is my ebook with 10 color combinations you can choose from. Up to 3 colors, pay attention. These are combinations of up to 3 colors. There are 10 combinations you can choose from to paint the exterior of your house, okay? Front facade, side, back walls, all right? You can choose one of these combinations among these 10 from my ebook and create a beautiful color scheme for the outside of your house and for the inside too, okay? It also works for painting the inside of your house. The first link is right here in the description of this video for you. Alright, so guys, look, these are items and decorations that I wouldn't use in my own house and I wouldn't recommend you use them in yours. Some of them are out of style, others are functional but not aesthetically pleasing, right? There are others that you'll agree with me. 100% I want to hear your opinion. Comment here which ones you agree with me on and which ones you disagree with, okay? So we can have this conversation. Just a reminder that the link to my ebook is in the description, okay? Leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. If you made it this far, leave your like as well, and don't forget that I'll see you in our next video. Take care.